This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy, connect back to your tribe, and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose, helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand rising, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. See, that's it. Y'all need to stop that.
Every time we get him.
So first off,
why he always starting the show so happy? What they doing over there?
y'all always starting stuff. That's the problem. Y'all always starting stuff. Anyway, LJ3 says y'all come in cut up. For you know how they do. Grand Rising, do the vision. First off, I want to apologize for cutting the public service announcement short. I'm trying to make sure I get everything in because everything is manual right now. So I'm gonna work on fixing it so it's gonna be just one continuous link. That way I won't cut it off again. So, Bones, no solo, how y'all doing today?
Oh, I'm spry.
You're what?
Nothing. Trying to use new words. Being verbose, you know?
Oh, I thought he was coming with an Akon. I tried so hard.
I said spry.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's going to be one of them rises. Y'all do realize today is Thursday, not Friday, right?
Oh, it's Friday. I don't know what you talking about.
It's pre-Friday.
Pre-Friday? It's pre-Friday.
Friday.
Okay. Okay.
It's Friday-ish.
Yeah, no sellout. You know, he came over, he touched me. He passed off the Friday effect. I was like, I got the glow. I can feel it.
You need to give it back. That's what he's
Hey, man. Hey, what's wrong with a Friday glow, TMH? Don't be hating.
You need to give it back. I'm just saying. Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising to the new subscribers. Grand Rising to the silent majority. Those that listening, chilling, hanging out. Yeah, I'm a little old. I'm a little chronologically gifted, so I'm going to use some old slang. You might hear some words like fresh and all that good stuff. But anyway, Grand Rising to y'all. Hope everyone, everything.
That's old school.
Everything is...
Yeah, boy.
Y'all are goofy. Just because we can't see you or we don't hardly hear from you in the chat don't mean you're any less important. You're just as important because you're the ones that's actually doing the work and where we get the numbers from. To the best chat ever. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what it is. Grand Rising, Doodle Vision. Grand Rising, Copper Chopper 803. Grand Rising, Lady Free. Grand Rising, Oak Cliff. Grand Rising, Michael Brown Harris. Grand Rising, Jaguar. Grand Rising, Original Tillers. Hopefully I said that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll correct it on air. Grand Rising, Sheba Primal. Prince William County representing. What else we got in the building? The virtual building, that is. Grand Rising, Trauma Hawk.
Peace to all the relatives that made it out this rising.
Grand Rising, Oak Cliff. Grand Rising, Copper Color Ancestor. I like that.
Peace, Jaguar.
Why you come in with that old deep voice? Like
Peace out, Clay. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get in on the
like you ready to do a radio promo.
He said it.
In a
He's getting his
world.
very white on. Very white on, that's it.
Hey. No, I can't get deep. I'm sorry.
Don't do it.
Doodle joke in my PowerPoints. Grand Rising, Alton Clay.
AKA Swarth Vader. Alton Clayton Powell. James got a name for everybody. It don't matter.
It don't matter. That's what he
You
do.
got a screen name for your screen name. Stop playing. Your alias got an alias.
Alias got aliases. They got aliases. They got an alias.
That's what we doing.
I guess I'm just gonna call you alias.
Alias.
This what we doing.
You just gave him a third alias.
This what we doing.
We got the rapping. That's how it happened.
You know. Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Marlon P. Michael Brown Harris, peace.
I'm checking the slides and they keep looping. I got like over 100 slides and they keep showing the same ones. Well, I ain't got time to fix it right now.
Shiva Primal Peace. I don't know if your name was said already.
Some slides, they need to slide on then.
Grand Rising Marlon P. And if y'all can hear us okay, which I think y'all can, put some ones in the chats so we can make sure we're coming through loud and clear. Make sure our vocals are where they're supposed to be so we can make sure we get this information out like it's supposed to be. And it can be heard. And no one's screaming over everybody else, meaning me screaming over everybody else. Grand Rising Celestial Love.
2212. Mic check. 2212.
What you do, get a professional mic? No sellout?
Nope. I'm on another phone. I told you my phone did not get charged last night.
Well, this is a phone that you need to use because you coming through like.
No, don't say that. This is not. No, man. This is not.
Bones, don't even sound good. Don't his vocals.
Came in with his professional voice.
Yeah.
Don't make me.
I just got some rest. That's all. I'm rested. No cups. No cups.
I appreciate y'all. All right, so we covered who did we cover yesterday? Because I'm ready to get started with the Roman Empire today. We covered the Ottoman empires, aka the Moors, and what did we learn? Well, I can tell y'all what I learned. I learned that the empire was a lot larger than I thought. I learned that they had a lot more influence in why slavery, if you indentured servitude in Americas, got started. Because by the time they finished conquering in the mid 1500s, there was no more land. So you figure by the time exactly, no more land and too many people. So what happens when you have no more land and too many people, and there's a whole continent across the water with lots of trees, lots of vegetation, and they're your cousins and them. And them. You go over there. You go for a visit, right? You go see if you can do some things. They got some vacancies, right? Michael Brown Harris says it wouldn't be an empire without Issa Moors. You have a great. What's the best way? That's a great statement there. Not just great because I'm Issa, but it's great because it has more impact than many people realize. And with that impact come a lot of responsibility. We got a lot of toning to do. So yeah, there's no more land over in Europe. They're only going to go so far in South Africa because they don't have any relationships where they can actually start building colonies. So they need to go where their relationships are. They got relationships with the people in the Americas. That will be our ancestors. So they go over there on some expeditions. What else did we learn? Well, we learned and reconfirmed that Spain is relatively new in relations to we can't even call them a people. We can't even call them a language. It's a commerce language. That's the best way to explain it. It's a way.
Yeah, language of business at the time. Yeah, correct.
It's a language of commerce that was created, and then they changed it to a people. But this did not happen until 1502. So, if this is the case, which history has provided numerous information and numerous documentation, not only from Wikipedia with sources, but also the archives, then what flag was Christopher Columbus flying under when he, quote unquote, reached the Caribbean islands in 1492. Last time I checked, 1492 was 10 years prior to 1502 when Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand moved over to Hispaniola to create the name or change the name to Spain. So Spain is new, peoples. They're the cousin of the Franks, the Germans, the Dutch. You know, they relatives of Man Nut now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So these timelines are starting to disrupt the narrative that they were looking for new trade routes. It had already been discovered that there were new trade routes that existed before Cristoforo Colombo, whatever name you want to call him, before he was
That dude.
before he was even commissioned to come to the Americas. So that doesn't line up with the history that we were being taught. So we must revisit, or we must look at what happened or what's happening. And we must keep in mind the timelines. We must keep in mind what titles or what families are running the Europeans at this time. Because what you'll find out today, if you haven't already known, is that the Roman Empire is a house of families or a house of people. It is not a territory. So wherever the family goes, the name goes with them. Sort of like our tribes. Wherever our ancestors went, that's where the names went. That's how come you got Cherokee all over the place, Choctaw, Shinnecock, you name it. So, just wanted to catch everybody up on that. Bones, no salads, anything that y'all want to share before we get started and punch this clock?
No, you about covered it all from yesterday.
Non-violent.
Really? That's what we doing?
You got that clock.
That's all you got? Non-violent?
Yep.
Michael Brown Harris says, I got an aunt that's giving me hints that I'm Issa. Well, if you got family in certain counties of North Carolina, South Carolina, and northern Georgia, and southern Virginia, yeah, you probably do.
A good chance.
Yeah. Issa, Esau, Iswa, all those Catawba names. So it's very likely. If you need any help with that, or you got some questions, just reach out to us. We can, we will lend you whatever resources we have to help you. All right, so let's go ahead and punch this clock so everybody know where they are. Everybody wear ratchets. Go ahead and hand out them hard hats, shin guards, shoulder pads. Give them the good equipment. Don't give out no cheap equipment. You got that kind of insurance. So you ready? No sellout?
Yeah. Just saying.
Just saying. What you saying? You need me to put the links in the chat? I'll do that.
It was, but it wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, could you do that?
See? So busy looking for the weekend. You so busy looking for the weekend, you forgot to do. You got one job!
One job. Yeah, one job.
You got one job!
My bad. Oh man, no, I was actually setting up the link that I usually post. My bad. right now.
There you go, the links, good people. And remember, the most important part about these links are the sources where this information comes from. I like to remind people that it's important to be able to get the sources from which this information comes from, to verify, to debunk it, to correct it. Because again, we're here about getting it right. It's not about being right. Doesn't do me any good to be right about something and you can't find your ancestors. That ain't cool. So I'd rather be wrong and you know where you came from than be right and you can't find out where you come from. That's my perspective. So you ready to read?
Yep.
All right, so we're starting with the link from Tech Times, and this link was sent to us via Doodle Vision, and it's very interesting that this information is being released. Well, actually, this information was released December 24th, 2015 at 8:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and the title reads, Historians claim, you see the way they did that? Historians claim Romans discovered America before Christopher Columbus. So we know the Romans, there are two Roman empires, as you'll see. They're the Turks and they're the Franks. So
you got the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire.
Turks and Francos?
Turks and Franks. Oh my goodness. You know what? Beans and Franks. Beans and Franks, y'all.
Turks.
Turks and Franks. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
see, we need more of that, no sellout. We demand more of that, no sellout. I'm just saying, just read, no sellout.
Laughing in the background?
No.
Yeah.
Just read. Just read.
Laughing in the background.
We need less of that, Bones. We need less of that, Bones.
Thank you for being a friend.
We just A2 mixed it. That was the A2 mix. A2 mix.
Bones, you have many talents. Fake singing is not one of them. Please stop reading.
Historians claim that Romans discovered America before Christopher Columbus. When Columbus set foot on the continent in 1492, he made history, but new evidence says ancient mariners visited New World more than 1,000 years before he did.
Stop.
It's one paragraph, bro.
Come on, man. It's early. People, we gotta make sure everybody catch a cab.
Gotcha.
Just, this vehicle makes multiple stops. We need a bumper sticker made.
I think we got a huge one back there. Had a couple close encounters, so yeah, we gotta have it.
Okay, so y'all know how we do. And this is because of y'all. Yes, I'm blaming the chat. It's y'all fault. Cause y'all demand this. What the world? What the world? That music just interrupted. Did y'all hear that?
Nope.
I'm sure the chat heard it because it was all in my ear. Sorry about that, y'all. My apologies. I don't know what happened. I know what I can do, though. Basically what it boils down to, it says, new evidence says ancient mariners visited the New World more than 1,000 years before he did. So that means if ancient mariners visited the New World 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus did, you're basically talking 1392, right?
1,000.
Mike Easton says, remember, they found that gold from Alexander in Ohio. King Alexander is Greek or Roman, right? Pretty much the same people. Exactly, Mike.
And also remember, you had the Protestants, remember, running the Protestants out of Europe started in the 11th and 1200s. You did have a migration that left in the 1300s to come this way. Those were the followers of John Wycliffe, the writer of the Wycliffe Bible.
Say it again so they can hear you. I don't think they heard you.
You got to remember, in the 1300s, you had Protestants that ran out of Europe. They were the followers of John Wycliffe, the creator of the John Wycliffe Bible. He was the one that translated the Bible from Latin to Old English. And this is what, let's say 1365, I remember correctly, if I'm quoting it right, 1365.
So you're looking at a time frame of 1,000 years before Cristoforo Colombo, aka European colonizer with a cross, a cross-bearing colonizer, came over here. So if that's the case, then why are our history teachers telling us and our children that Christopher Columbus discovered America? Looking for new trade routes, when obviously there were already trade routes here. Oak Cliff says Lil Chris. Let's call Christopher Columbus Lil Chris. Lil Chris in there.
Lil Chris.
Lil Chris and the Moors. Coming to the stage. Anyway.
That's the
One night only. 2 shows.
Indigenous American Leo says that's my Uncle Pete. Y'all stupid. But I bet you we'll make sure y'all remember this. Hopefully it's right. Doodle Vision says crisscross.
Make it jump.
All right, so I just wanted to point that out because it says new evidence. So obviously they have some information that suggests that this information is credible. Now, you know, here at A2, we're not scientists. I didn't go to school for science. So I'm not gonna sit here and claim to be an archaeologist, anthropologist, or any of those. Even though Copper's wife, that's a field study, but you know, we not.
Yes, it is. We do have one on staff, though.
Yeah, we do have one on staff. However, they're not here, and we're just gonna read the information. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, like everything else that we read. Gotta go do your own research. So with that public service announcement, go ahead and please continue reading, Sir Dosala.
Oh, you a sir now. Oh, I see how they go.
Uh-huh.
Hush bounds.
All right, what was that? First paragraph? Yeah. Scientists from the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society, AAPS, discovered a Roman sword in a shipwreck near the Oak Island south of Nova Scotia, Canada. They also found carvings of soldiers, ancient coins, and native plants. If this theory is true, then the Americas' history must be revived. This shows that the continent was discovered a millennia before Columbus did.
Stop. You was waiting for me to tell you to stop after the second paragraph. You can't be anticipating the pull of the trigger. Throw your shot off.
I'll give a long pause no matter what, just in case the chat has a question, you know.
Grand Rising.
Stop.
Moon, did you change your name? Go to Moon. Or this somebody else. It says Moon, aka K. Okay, I'm gonna just start calling you KD. You mess me up. Grand Rising, KD. Now this is interesting for me because it talks about they discovered a Roman sword in a shipwreck near the Oak Islands, south of Nova Scotia, Canada. They also found carvings of soldiers, ancient coins, and native plants. Now, remember what I told y'all that I had it in my Ancestry.com. I saw one of my ancestors had what appeared to be a passport. It wasn't called a passport, it was called something else, from Nova Scotia. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, no. Anyway.
I do. I was on mute thing. Yep. Sorry.
Y'all don't like me. It's okay.
Oh, was I on mute?
Wow.
You got tough skin. That's all right, Turtle.
J. Free was right. Anyway.
Yeah. Put that button number.
Yeah.
So, this is another reason why this is important, because if we're doing our genealogy and we're starting to see individuals from places like Nova Scotia in our genealogy, and we're starting to see individuals from Europe, Dutch last names, French last names, Irish last names, then that makes it a lot easier. And I can only speak for me because I can't speak for everybody else. I'm ignoring that, LJ Free. I can't speak for everybody else, but I actually stopped doing my genealogy and redid that whole line because I found Nova Scotia in my family, because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't some trickery going on. So this information helps me understand that, okay, this makes sense now, because there is a possibility that I can have people from Nova Scotia in my family, whether they be Dub or Finn. Y'all know that Dub and Finn are Irish words, Dub meaning dark or black, Finn meaning light, fair, or white.
Correct.
So with that being the case, it makes it easier to not only to accept that information, but realize that now it's just a matter of determining what line that this family comes from on this European side, whether it's Dub or Finn, noble or commoner, or indentured servant, slave, or what have you. So again, everything that we do is to help people with their genealogy. So we're going to be tying a lot of that information in so people can understand we're not just doing this for history's sake, even though the history is important, but we want to tie it into things that can be applicable. Is that a word? Applicable? Today. Things that you can go out and use today. So Doodle Vision says Nova Scotia equals home of the Colored Hockey League. Yes, good people. Your people invented hockey. Yeah. You gotta do something on that ice besides put it in drinks. So, Bones, you got anything that you want to say? I'm sorry.
The link I just posted in the chat. That's where No Sellout reading from. Because it was the other one that was posted in there.
All right. No Sellout. Old Cliff said it has helped them. Cool, appreciate it. Because again, if it's helping, let us know. If it's not helping, let us know that too. Again, we want to get it right. We're not concerned about being right. I'm not concerned about that. No Sellout, are you able to read, or you need me to read it?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, sir.
So we are on the researchers.
Mm-hmm.
The researchers, led by historic investigator Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, said that the Roman ships visited North America during the 1st century or even earlier. Even though historical facts state that Columbus was the first non-indigenous person to arrive in the continent when he stepped on Bahamas in 1492, Pulitzer insists that Romans landed there first. Quote, today, the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society, AAPS, announces its support for a study that suggests the presence of ancient mariner civilizations traveling to the Americas, AAPS posted in its website. On the screen jumping around. Pulitzer claims that the sword is 100% confirmed.
Stop.
No.
Really? You said no. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. Y'all don't like me. It's okay. Doodle Vision says 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 let's do. Grand Rising El Borea says, of course, the original Nova Scotians are from Africa, like everywhere else. I'm so tired of Africa. Fake Africans, come on, El Borea. LJ Free says, and in a minute they gonna claim they taught us crip walking or sea walking. Wow, man, y'all are Grand Rising, Mr. Zeno. Apologize for missing you earlier. I am. This is interesting because we're starting to see the way and I hate to say this because it sounds so cliche. The narrative is being spun. Because it says evidence has been found, but then as they say evidence has been found, now they go on to say that these are claims, and they say if this theory is true. What you mean a theory? What you mean theory?
Yeah, the title has claims in it, and then they start off with theory and true, and then this last statement, Pulitzer claims that the sword is 100% confirmed. How you claiming something's 100%?
Right. Doodle Vision says Romans equals Turks equals Hittites. Came to the Americas for tobacco. They wanted to smoke some.
They're like, what's this? Oh, that.
Roll it if you got it.
And that means your own. That's some government certified cancer causing stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
You want on mute. Don't worry, a few people had to hear that.
I mean, it's just funny, and then it goes on and says that Pulitzer. So I wonder if Hutton Pulitzer is related to the individual who the Pulitzer surprise. The Pulitzer Prize surprise. If the Pulitzer Prize is named after.
You won. That's what I was thinking when I read it, but we might have to look into that.
Oak Cliff says you didn't put in on this, man.
No, man.
Better to give than receive, brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Quote, the ceremonial sword came out of that shipwreck, unquote, he said. Quote, it is one incredible Roman artifact, unquote. He came across the sword when a man contacted History Channel's The Curse of Oak Island show. A man and his son discovered the sword when they went scalloping off Oak Island. The father kept it for decades, and when he died, it went to his wife, then his daughter. Then when she died, many years later, it went to her husband.
Hold on. Come on, man. Listen. Stop it. Indigenous American Leo says, why is it always a shipwreck? Mike Easter said, that's right. They wanted to smoke something. Go ahead, rise the big chief.
Long trip. And whack where y'all was at.
But hold on. The father kept it for decades. Am I the only one that saw that? Decades. That means at least 20 years.
Look, 21 in a day, or 20 in a day is still decades. Come on, son.
Doodle Vision says Gilligan Island up in this camp. So here's the thing. You kept it for decades. Don't when you go again, I don't know, this is not my area of expertise. My ancestors, You know, they ran off the boats. But you know, I'm just starting to learn about boats. So y'all gotta forgive me. I got a lot of catching up to do. Don't when you go exploring and you come across a ship off the coast, you have to let somebody know. Obviously, he let somebody know. But if that's the case and you're letting somebody know, Grand Rising Iron Flying Squirrel, if you're letting somebody know, then why is it that you were able to keep that sword?
What sword?
The sword that they found that they're just now turning in.
What sword?
The sword that was found off of the coast. Of Oak. Oh, don't do that.
Look, ain't no sword until now.
It's up on Oak Island.
I went back and I just found it. That's what happened. I didn't have it all these years. He wasn't supposed to have it, apparently. I mean, it don't seem like he was supposed to have it if he's supposed to turn that kind of wreckage in. Or that kind of discovery.
Mike Eason says, why they always be bojangling? I don't even know what that means, but that is funny.
It works. You know what? It
Dum dum
works.
did it.
Whatever.
So, look. Here's a funny thing. He's an Excalibur. Doodle Vision said. They're talking about this curse of Oak Island. And then, because that was on the History Channel, why didn't the History Channel talk about this, right? So that's another place y'all can go do some research on the History Channel and when that show came out. Then they gave it to his wife and then his daughter. Then his wife and his daughter died and went to her husband. So the original family, the line of family that found it are all dead. And her husband, who is now the widow, says, let me go turn this in. Are you serious? And all of a sudden, now they're going to turn this sword in. That sword has been in their hands for at least 40 to 50 years. Is anybody else on the Paul? Maybe it's just me. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bone. Go ahead, no sellout. Yeah, I called you Bones. Get over it.
Yeah.
Stop reading.
Just like last hour.
I told you, everybody is Bones. Get over it.
All right. The husband contacted the program and decided to show them the sword. When they examined the sword, they were sure it was similar to ancient Roman artifacts, and according to forensic tests, the sword was made of ore. Pulitzer began testing the sword using an XRF analyzer, a known archaeological tool for metal analysis. He found that the sword was actually made from ore that came from the ground. Nova Scotia, Canada is home to thousands of unexplored shipwrecks dating back to 18th and 19th century. Though they are aware of the exact location of the shipwreck, it is still not explored since it lies in the territory of Nova Scotia. They firmly believe, however, that it is Roman.
Stop.
Pulitzer.
Stop for a second. Sorry. I ain't even gonna use the sound effects. Just stop. Does Nova Scotia have a ban from exploration on their coast or off their coast? Because this is something Doodle Vision that brought to our attention. It says Nova Scotia is home to thousands, with an S, of unexplored shipwrecks dating back to the 18th and 19th century. Thousands. Not a few. Not 100. But thousands. And this is just, they're admitting from the 18th and the 19th century. So if ships were wrecking on the 18th and during the 18th and the 19th century, is it safe to say, surmise, guesstimate, or pontificate that there could have been ships wrecking all the way back into the 1300s?
That's a whole lot of case, but yeah.
Okay. But it is not explored since it lies in the territory of Nova Scotia. The question should be why. And then Doodle Vision says, history just talks about Hitler because the cover-up on the ancient history has been exposed.
Well, if you was gonna dive and excavate off the coast of Nova Scotia, when you have to contact England and France for permission to?
If it's a territory of theirs, yeah, I guess you would.
And if they trying to keep some secrets hidden, they ain't gonna let you go get it.
Okay.
But it gets deeper.
Oh yeah, Mike Easton. Thanks, Mike, for educating me. Mike says, and Bojangling means the same thing. They lying about some things. Okay, so that's what that means. Bojangling means this, good people.
Why you always lying? Why you all?
So there you go. Bojangling means lying. Thanks for that, Mike Easton. Appreciate you. So there are thousands of ships that are shipwrecked off of the coast of Nova Scotia, and nobody's doing any investigating on it. I mean, that's a lot of ships to be down there. That's a lot of gold that could be down there. That's a lot of resources that could be down there. That's a lot of history, a lot of our story that's down there.
Well, you can find a 2x4 at the bottom of a river and say it's a slave ship, though. I'm just saying.
That's a good thought. That's a good point. And besides, any ship found in the Nova Scotia area, in the Canada, which is in that sea, in that ocean up there, would not be supporting the transatlantic slave trade. So yeah, I get it, but that's a whole lot of BS just to cover the fact that you had millions upon millions of Africans coming over here as slaves when we know that's not true. Now, I'm not saying there weren't slaves from Africa that came over here. I'm just saying it just wasn't millions. But anyway, I digress. It's a whole other story. Yeah, great. Exactly. Free artifacts. I mean, there's a whole lot of history that's not being researched and looked at.
Well, the next two paragraphs gonna really make you scratch your head.
All right, so that's code for don't hit no brakes till after no sellout. Read the next two paragraphs. Got you. Go ahead, no sellout.
Already. I don't know where I was at. Okay,
Historians demonstrated the sword is more than mere coincidence.
All right. Oh, I was the one before that too. Yeah, hold on. Okay, according to Pulitzer, historians often dismiss such facts by saying the quote sword must have been dropped by collectors, unquote. He said that if someone dropped a rare collector's item near Oak Island at just 25 feet deep, he would dive down to get it. Historians demonstrated the sword is more than mere coincidence. To prove this, they examined the area around Nova Scotia. They also took into consideration archaeological records for comparison and looked at Micmac people, the indigenous natives of Nova Scotia who lived in the island for more than 8,000 years. The DNA markers of these people were one of the rarest in the world, coming from ancient Levant.
Stop. Or do you want to read the next paragraph, Bones?
No, you can stop there. Before you go on, would like to congratulate Go and Moon on his new arrival. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's what's up. Grand Rising. Congratulations. And all that good stuff. Doodle Vision says, how many West African ice skaters are there? I'll wait.
They got ice? Oh, my bad.
LJ Free says, swarthy Vikings messes up the all swarthiness comes out of African nonsense. It does. Swarthy Vikings, swarthy Dutch, swarthy Irish, swarthy Germans that Benjamin Franklin, the forefather of truth, might I add, and an upstanding American citizen, lamented about the whole world being swarthy. So either he lying or he not. Which one is it? I'm just saying. It's coming from his mouth, not mine. So let's look at this Micmac. Indigenous natives of Nova Scotia who lived in the island for more than 8,000 years. That's a long time, ain't it? Is it safe to say 8,000 years was way before slaves came over here?
You know it.
Okay. Says according to the report, number carved on the images by the Micmac on the wall caves. Okay, so that wasn't read yet. Here's what I find interesting. You get a sword that's that ancient and you're not gonna die for it when you've been diving for stuff your whole life. That's your profession. These narratives are interesting to me. So y'all realize and remember who the Micmac people are, right? They're the ones that helped write Ladino, or helped create Ladino.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Authors and co-authors of Ladino, which was used to transliterate a or some religious books so they could be taught. And if you got, Mick and Mac in your last name, it's a very high possibility that your ancestors are from there. Nova Scotia. But the Micmac are. And we know they're an indigenous tribe to the Americas because we did research on it and we did a build on it a couple of months ago, talking about them, during the Indian Wars. So, something to think about. Hold on for a second. Okay, so that's just interesting. 8,000 years, that's a long time. Go on, let's set up. Go on, continue to read.
All right.
Go on, Seth.
Aside from these findings, they also found other things that attest to their theory. There were stones, a Roman legionnaire's whistle, a metal boss in the center of a Roman shield, and a Roman head sculpture. All were found in countries in America. Quote, I think as humans we have evolved enough to be able to handle the truth now. It's time for theory to be reflected as by hard science. Even if there's no gold inside Oak Island, it's a $1 trillion treasure. It's a $1 trillion treasure we are uncovering in history for our children and grandchildren. Unquote. Pulitzer concludes.
Stop, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
The part where it says, according to the report, a number of carved images by the Micmac on walls of caves in the island show Roman legionnaires marching with swords and ships. Oh, I see why. This thing jumps too much. Aside from that, they found that around 50 words in the Micmac language. If this thing don't stop jumping,
yeah, let me
words
read.
in the Micmac. Yeah, if you can find it, because it won't be still for me.
Because look, it's popping up everywhere, dude. It just did it. Okay, so according to the report, this is what I skipped, y'all, because the screen want to be silly. A number of carved images by the Micmac on walls of caves in the island show Roman legionnaires marching with swords and ships. Aside from that, they found that around 50 words in Micmac language were similar to ancient nautical sailing words utilized by ancient mariners in the past. He insisted that all these things, yeah.
Stop. I was about to share the screen, and then when you hit, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get the screen share fast and get to that point.
It jumps for some reason.
I can read that again.
Hold on. Before you read again. I'll read it. I'll rewind it. I'll read it. I just want to share the screen so people can see it.
That's crazy. How are they still on theories though?
Hold on.
Okay. And why this ain't talked about?
All right, so this is where It says, according to the report, a number of carved images by the Micmac on walls of caves in the island show Roman legionnaires marching with swords and ships. Aside from that, they found that around 50 words in Micmac language were similar to ancient nautical sailing words utilized by ancient mariners in the past. Then it says he insisted that all these things were related to each other. For example, a bush named Berberis vulgaris, a Canadian invasion species, were actually used by ancient Roman mariners to season their food. Now it grows in Oak Island, making all these symbols more than just mere coincidence. Come on, man. You can't make this up.
So hold on. You have artifacts, you have language, and you have vegetation.
Come on, man.
Where is the theory at still again?
It's a theory, yo. Stop questioning the theory. No facts.
Yes, you heard that right. Correct, LJ Free. Roman legionnaires on cave walls paintings in Nova Scotia made by the Micmac. Meaning the Micmac seen the Romans come over. How else can you paint a picture of something if you've never seen it? Even your imagination needs something to work off of. It has to be something that you've seen or heard of. And then yesterday we learned that Spanish shares loan words from indigenous American languages of tribes.
Yep. Which basically
confirming even more that there was communication way before they wanted to admit it. I wonder why that is. Somebody's slave story sinking fast.
Mike Giza says the theory, no facts. Something to think about. So I guess it's a theory that they found a cave. I guess it's a theory that Micmacs were living there. I guess it's a theory that these theoretical people that actually existed wrote theoretical words on a theoretical cave on a theoretical island that the History Channel did an actual show about. Is that what I'm understanding?
That everybody speaks, because they created Ladino, which became Latin, and Europe was speaking Latin. So how did that happen if it was created over here? Matter of fact, didn't the Romans speak Latin?
Yeah. How do we
wonder where they got the Ladino from.
How do we know they spoke Latin, Bones? How do we know that the Romans spoke Latin, Bones?
Mainly because they wrote in Latin and said they spoke Latin.
And the Iberian Peninsula was name was changed to Hispaniola, and Hispaniola is a what word for Iberian Peninsula?
Latin word.
Oh, okay, just checking. Doodle Vision says, thanks, Issa. Look, man. Your ancestors was on that ship too, stop playing. So here's the thing, man. We have all this information that's being presented now. And you know what, I'm not even gonna touch that. Let's just talk about the info. So, yes, Nova Scotia are your Vikings, who are your Hittites.
Leave me alone.
So, this is interesting. Very interesting.
To say the least. But they quickly tell you about discoveries made thousands of miles away on somebody else's land, man. But they won't tell you about the ones that's being discovered in your backyard. Sound fishy to me.
Which is probably some of them floating around them swords and some of them sunken treasures on all them thousands of ships that have sunk off the coast of Nova Scotia.
No, Michael Brown Harris, yes, Latin does come from here because Ladino was created by the Micmac, and Latin is created from Ladino. And also Spanish is created from Hebrew, Arabic, Ladino, Latin, what was it? Some other Greek Romantic languages and loan words from American indigenous peoples. And this is what they got stated in their own writings on what Spanish is. But you can even look today to see the loan words that's in it. Yes, Aramaic, which is before Arabic.
Interesting, to say the very least. So what does this mean? This basically means that Christopher Columbus, or Little Chris, as Oak Cliff called him, Little Chris and the Moors. That story, Little Chris and them. That story is starting to look more and more suspicious as we continue to do the timelines. Because again, we know for a fact that Spain did not become Spain until 1502. 10 years before Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And if he did sail the ocean blue in 1492, and they say he's Italian, and if anything I'm saying is inaccurate, please correct it. They are credited Christopher Columbus, Little Chris and them, with being Italian. And according to archived French records, Italy was under French control in 1492. France did not lose control of Italy until 1524. Somebody lying. They either lying then or they lying now. Either way, they lying. And if that's the case, why are they lying? I mean, I'll let y'all figure that part out.
But you hiding in your closet.
Michael Brown crazy.
What's in your closet?
Alden Clay said Italy wasn't a country until 1861.
Correct.
So what was it then if it wasn't Italy?
Timeline. It was a French area. Remember, the French had it.
Wow, man, Alton.
The Romans got it. Then it went back to the French. Then the Romans got it. During the time of the Ottomans, then they became what you want to consider independent, in a sense.
So it's the same narrative that, wow. So it wasn't called Italy until 1861. Darn.
A lot of the land masses over there, their names are newer than people would care to think.
Yeah.
What shows you that is the names of the people that come from it. See, whoever got the land, like the Ottomans, they didn't run the people out. They'll just change the name of the land in some cases and not really change the name of the land. They called the land by the language that they spoke. So it would sound like it's a different name. It's just a different language.
That's crazy. Thanks for that correction, Alton Clay. Appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find it and post it. See, timeline's important. I'm looking it up now. Well, that's a lot to read.
Their founding date is June 18th, 1946.
Whose founding date?
Italy.
Man, stop playing. That's crazy.
Founded June 18th, 1946.
So it's impossible for him to have been sailing up under microprocessor. Ouch.
Think about when you be reading it. When you be reading about Christopher Columbus or Colombo, even yesterday when we was reading about the wars in that area, they didn't call them people Italians. At nan time reading the history of the Italian War, when them people called Italians, they were Franks.
Let's get a bomb
They didn't
drop.
become Italians until all the foreigners left out.
That's
When I mean
fact.
foreigners, all the different Europeans and Ottomans and Iberians.
When you say foreigners, you mean the dubs, the dub nobles, the dub commoners. Let's give Alton Clay a bomb
It became
drop.
a nation state, but Michael, you correct, because it became a nation state on March 17th, 1861. That was they became a nation state on that date, and their official founding as an independent was June 18th, 1946.
Let's go ahead and give Alton Clay a bomb drop for that information, that correction. Appreciate you. Doodle Vision says Chris Columbus is Chris Tucker on Money Talks. He was half and half Italian. Hey, Pazan. Why did I read that?
I don't know.
Look, man, I told y'all I can't read and talk at the same time. Y'all think I'd be joking? Alright. So where we at? Really? Hold on.
Yeah, we finished with that article.
Oh, we are? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah.
We got down to the end.
Alright, so you can read we can go ahead and read you can start reading the first, read about the Roman Empire. I'll go ahead and
If
read
anybody
most
wants
of
the link on the history of Italy, I put it in the chat.
Jay Saswahana says, Google Christopher Columbus Cambridge University findings. Do what? Whoa, yo. Jay Saswahana says, Cambridge University says he was from Cameroon. What the? Hold on. Man. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna post this link. Stop the presses. Did anybody else know about this besides Jay? Jay, why you be holding out, bro? Why you be holding out, Jay? Jay just be holding out. Jay be putting stuff in the pocket, right, and forgetting it's back there.
Exactly. Like, man, look what I sat on.
A week later, be like, man, where this come from?
Like that peppermint that be in his pocket, and then when you wash it, the wrapper come off.
Why my pocket smell minty?
Hold on.
If Leo was here, I'd make a Simpsons reference that he would get. Where's Copper India?
I know we need copyright. Alright, y'all. So I just put the link in there. Man, we gotta give. Well, Jay always be dropping bombs, but I'm gonna give him his bomb drop.
You know it. I know JB on it. Play with it.
Grand Rise at Pamela Hall.
Jay will pull a pin on a grenade and throw it and walk away like nothing happened.
I know.
Don't even tell you.
Don't even
You don't
tell
know
you.
till those
You
clothes
react
go
to it,
off.
he don't.
You wonder why your leg's missing.
Exactly.
See your text message.
On that toothpick.
See your text message. Duck. Kaboom. Yeah, duck.
It's like, bro, how did you even time this up?
Mike says I gotta roll a leaf on that one. Alright, so I'm gonna share the screen. Give me a second. I'll go ahead and read this. Go ahead and blow it up a little bit more.
Oh, Big Chief, don't worry. Here at the Continental Assembly, that's what we're working on now. Because we do have AINT, American Indian Network Television, which is our own broadcast television. So we getting there.
Alright. So let's go. It says, this is from Weekly World News, the world's only reliable news. Okay. Now, check this out. It's by Frank Lake on October 10th, 2011. Jay Susquehanna, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You've been sitting on this for how many years now? 8. Bad Indian. Alright. It says Cambridge, UK. New research done by the University of Cambridge proves conclusively that Christopher Columbus was black. DNA analysis of the remains of Christopher Columbus done by forensic scientists at the University of Cambridge proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the famed navigator was of African descent. A 500-year mystery has been solved. And Wellington Malley, the head of Cambridge research team, even though Columbus was born in Genoa and spoke and wrote in Spanish most of his life, the DNA is clear. Columbus was 100% African. We believe he was from the West Coast, probably from what is now Cameroon. No way, said Carlo Minucci of Bayonne, New Jersey. Columbus is a full-blooded Italian-American. He sailed here with his friends Nina Pinta and discovered Hoboken. That's the way it went down. He's not black. This is our day. Sorry, Carlo. It's the truth. Some of the remains of Christopher Columbus were found in Seville Cathedral in Spain, and some bones were buried in Santo Domingo Cathedral in Dominican Republic. All of the bones and the remains from both locations have been checked and rechecked. He's black. Columbus died in 1506. In 1537, the widow of his son Diego was allowed to take the bones of both her husband and his father to the Dominican Republic for burial in the Cathedral of Santo Domingo. Diego was also black. Not all African Americans are pleased to now learn about Columbus' ethnic identity. What? Columbus was a thug, a punk? He sailed out over here and slaughtered the Indians? Said Fred Johnson of Harlem. I think the whole thing is bogus. Trying to pin a crime on blacks again. This is BS. But President Obama heard news over the weekend and was proud to know that one of the greatest sailors and navigators of all time was black. I'm ordering all statues and monuments to Christopher Columbus be taken down and redone. We want his likeness to be accurate. Mayor Bloomberg...
Hold up.
Is that real? Hold on, I'm tripping. I was on mute. Is that real?
Hold on. So this dude knew when he was in the highest seat in the land, and you couldn't put out a PSA?
Obama.
We got 2011. It's 2019.
So here's a question, and I'm not trying to be disparaging. How accurate is this information?
I want to know as well. That's why I just.
Oh, you know we're gonna find that.
I want to
Big
know.
and man.
I mean, because it has a humorous slant to it, but
Yeah, but I don't know, yo. I want to know how accurate this is right
yeah.
now.
Before we start, It says, hold on. Yeah, I want to make sure this is accurate.
TJ said hard hats. We gotta go dig for this. Actually, we can just look up that quote, see if it's a quote from Obama. Actually, get off that site. It's a little too much on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We live, baby.
Enough now.
Well, yeah. I want to know if that is accurate.
No, we got to get off of there. I just looked them up. They say Weekly World News was a largely fictional news tabloid published in the United States from 1979 to 2007. Renowned for its outlandish cover stories.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where that humorous, what do you call it? What do you call a humorous slant? Trying to be verbose today.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not accurate.
Susquehanna says he's gonna post a link from Cambridge University soon.
All right, please do, bro.
All right. Yeah, I'd rather work on that one than this one.
Yeah, you know how we do. Yeah, exactly. Fake news. We don't do that. None of those. Gotta provide the proof, partner. Mike Easton, that was Photoshop a lotto. I don't know what that was.
Mr. TJ said, or is it? Is it fake news or is it?
Right? We still got to look it up, though. I want to know. Matter of fact, hold on. When did they find the body? It's almost some DNA test result. Remains from Cristobal Colombo. I thought, there was enough people out there saying it's fake. How you got remains all of a sudden?
All right, so we're gonna talk about this Roman Empire.
Alton Clay says Finn News.
I know, right?
That's funny. And that.
Two witnesses that all roads lead to Rome. Rome was created by a wolf and two children. Some madness. Lady J says, one thing I do remember about these empires in college was that these people were violent. All big kingdoms' histories are made of wars and violence. The Book of Torture was read to us in school. The Book of Torture? Good grief. That's crazy. You want to go ahead and read the Roman Empire? Let's sell out.
Oh yeah, I gotta find that link.
I'll send it to you.
You can post it up. Post it up in the chat because I don't see it. I'm scrolling up right now and I don't see it.
Had to make a quick correction on the fly, but that's what we're here for. If it's not right, we gotta make it right. Tell like it is. So our apologies for that. Jay's gonna bring some more information that's gonna help support that. Alton Clay says, where Africa was colonized between 1870 and 1900, Chris wasn't from Cameroon, was it? Is known now. He says, as it's known now. Okay. You got it, man?
That depends.
That depends.
Did you post it in the chat?
Yeah, I did.
What type of pen?
Just
all right, the Roman Empire.
Don't try reading all that. Don't do it, please. Don't do it.
See, I'm like classical Latin. That's the only word in there. Quan Greek, I think. No. All right. So the Roman Empire was the post-Republican period of ancient Rome. consisting of large territorial holdings around the Mediterranean Sea in Europe, North Africa, and West Asia ruled by emperors. From the session of Caesar Augustus to the military anarchy of the 3rd century, it was a principate with Italy as a metropole of the provinces and its city of Rome as sole capital, 27 BC to 286 AD. The Roman Empire was then ruled by multiple emperors and divided into a Western Roman Empire based in Milan, later Ravenna, and an Eastern Roman Empire based in Nicomedia, and later, Constantinople. Rome remained a nominal capital of both parts until 476 AD, when it sent the imperial insignia to Constantinople. Byzantium. Yeah, Byzantium. I think Byzantium in ancient Greek. Following the capture of Ravenna by the barbarians of Odoacer, and the subsequent deposition of Romulus Augustus. The fall of Western Roman Empire to Germanic kings, along with the Hellenization of the Eastern Roman Empire into the Byzantine Empire, is conventionally used to mark the end of ancient Rome and the beginning of the Middle Ages. The previous Roman Republic, which had replaced Rome's monarchy in the 6th century BC, became severely destabilized in a series of civil wars and political conflict. In the mid-1st century BC, Julius Caesar was appointed as perpetual dictator and then assassinated in 44 BC. Civil wars and proscriptions continued, culminating in the victory of the Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. Sorry, let me read that again. Civil wars and proscriptions continued, culminating in the victory of Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, over Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. The following year, Octavian conquered Ptolemaic Egypt. Is that right? Ptolemaic Egypt, ending the Hellenistic period that had begun with the conquest of Alexander the Great of Macedon in the 4th century BC. Octavian's power was then unassailable, and in 27 BC, the Roman Senate formally granted him overarching power and the new title Augustus, effectively making him the first emperor.
Stop. Hold on, let me say something. Because this is what...
Too many words?
Nah, it's not too many words. It's the it's a link. Let me do something right quick. Because this is what we're supposed to be seeing. The Roman Empire. Hold on. Yeah, it's supposed to be talking about the Carolingians and the Habsburg. So I gotta find out where Bones got this link from, because the link that I'm using is not the same link. Holy Roman Empire. Do this. Here we go. My bad. I'll put the correct link in there. Obviously, there's a difference between the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire.
Yes, they're a couple of years apart, the Roman Empire and the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, I put the link into the Roman Empire instead of the Holy Roman Empire. That's why I didn't break down the family, so I just put that correct one in the chat. So what I'll do, Nosal, is I'll read the first couple of paragraphs until you can catch it. Since I made the mistake. Uh, I put the. I'll read the first couple paragraphs so you can get the link and then move forward from there.
Holy Roman Empire. I see.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, Holy Roman Empire was a multi-ethnic complex of territories in Western and Central Europe that developed during the Middle Ages and continued until its dissolution in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars. The largest territory of the empire after 962 was the Kingdom of Germany, though it also included the neighboring Kingdom of Bohemia and Kingdom of Italy. See, Italy didn't exist then.
No,
So-
it was the Kingdom of Italy, but Italy wasn't a state. It was a kingdom.
Ah, got it. Thanks for keeping me on track. Plus, numerous other territories, and soon after the Kingdom of Burgundy was added, its size gradually diminished over time, particularly from 1648 onward, and by the time of its dissolution, it largely contained only German-speaking territories, although Switzerland and East Prussia were not included, plus the Kingdom of Bohemia, which was bordered by Germany lands on three sides. So wait a minute. You mean the Holy Roman Empire was mostly Germanics?
It's Germans. The Germans started the Roman and Holy Roman Empire. That's where it got its birth from.
They go them daggone French again.
It became the Holy Roman Empire when Augustus and them applied the term emperor, viewing themselves as gods. That's where the Holy Roman Empire and the church started to, and the Roman Catholic Church started to have a split.
Grand Rising, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
Before the leaders were voted in, then they made a change to where the Pope picked the leaders, and that's officially crowning it the Holy Roman Empire.
That's crazy. On 25 December 800, Pope Leo crowned the Frankish king Charlemagne as emperor, reviving the title of Western Europe, more than 3 centuries after the fall of the earlier ancient Western Roman Empire in 476. The title continued in the Carolingian family until 888, and from 896 to 899, after which it was contested by the rulers of Italy in a series of civil wars until the death of the last Italian claimant, Berengar I, in 924. The title was revived again in 962 when Otto I was crowned emperor, fashioning himself as a successor of Charlemagne and beginning a continuous existence of the empire. For over 8 centuries, some historians refer to the coronation of Charlemagne as the origin of the empire, while others prefer the coronation of Otto I as its beginning. Scholars generally concur, however, in relating on evolution of the institutions and principles constituting the empire, describing gradual assumption of the imperial title in Rome. The exact term Holy Roman Empire was not used until the 13th century, but the concept of translatio imperiale, the notion that he, the sovereign, the ruler, held supreme power, inherited from the ancient emperors of Rome, was fundamental to the prestige of the emperor. The office of Holy Roman Emperor was traditionally elective, although frequently controlled by dynasties. The mostly German prince-electors, the highest-ranking noblemen of the empire, usually elected one of their peers as king of the Romans, and he would later be crowned emperor by the Pope. The tradition of papal coronations was continued in the 16th century.
They discontinued it in the 16th century.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Jay Sasquana says, wasn't the Roman Empire around the same time as the Jewish? Wasn't that you were supposed to be fighting with the Romans? I guess he said that wasn't who they were supposed to be fighting, the Romans. Well, if you think about it, at that time, yeah, because the Jews got exiled out of where they get exiled out? They got exiled out of France in the in the 300s. Only to come back.
1100s and 1300s.
Yeah. So that would make sense. Grand Rising James Gilmore. So here's the thing that I wanted to look at. It talks about these dynasties. Does anybody know what the dynasties are? Because it says that they were all, though frequently controlled by dynasties. Dynasties are nothing more than houses. Houses are nothing more than what we call over here tribes. They're families. That's why they have coat of arms. That's why they have flags. Because these are families, not land masses. See, it didn't matter what land they were on. It mattered where the family was on the land. So wherever that family was who was ruling. So if the family member was in Germany, that's where Rome was. If the family member was in the Iberian Peninsula, that's where Rome was. And remember, you had the Eastern Rome and you had the Western Rome. So depending on which Roman family, which dynasty you talk about, would also determine where in Rome that you were, or which side of the house or dynasty that you were on. Does that make sense? It's like how a lot of the tribes now are broken up into North and South bands. Dub and Fin bands, to be more exact. Is there anything I forgot to speak on about in reference to that? Bones? No, Salah. So then it goes on to read, the emperor never achieved the extent of political unification as was formed to the west in France, evolving instead into a decentralized, limited elective monarchy composed of hundreds of subunits, kingdoms, principalities, duchies, countries, prince-bishoprics, free imperial cities, and other domains. The power of the emperor was limited, and while the various princes, lords, bishops, and cities of the empire were vassals who owed the emperor their allegiance, they also possessed an extent of privileges that gave them de facto independence with their territories. Emperor Francis II dissolved the empire on 6 August 1806, following the creation of the Confederation of the Rhine by Emperor Napoleon I a month before. Go to Moon, aka KD, says, what I missed, really? J. Sasquan says, which one did they have first, a Bible or a Pope? That's a good question. Anybody know the answer to that?
We know they had the Bible. All you got to do is study the life of John Wycliffe.
So I guess the question is, did the Pope come before, 1350, 1356, or whenever the Bible was written by John Wycliffe?
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Wycliffe Jean?
No relation. Same name, though.
Who's of Haitian?
Someone please call that.
Really? Who's of Haitian descent? He's a
one.
Y'all
with me. yeah.
Really?
Friday.
It's not Friday, it's Thursday.
It's Friday-ish. Sorry. Something like Friday.
Pamela Hall says she thinks the Pope was first.
No, you had the books before you had the Pope. The popes were the ones that, at the time, could read from the books and translate to everybody else.
All right. So, in various languages, the Holy Roman Empire was known as Latin. Sacrum Imperium Romanum. They go with all them ums. German, Helgas, Romanish Reich, Spanish, Sacro Imperio Romano, Germanico Italian, Sacro Romano Imperio, Czech, Svanta Lis, Remishka, Polish. I'm not doing all that. Not doing it. I'm not hurting people's ears. I'm not hurting my head. Before 1157, the realm was merely referred to as the Roman Empire. The term sacrum, holy in the sense of consecrated, in connection with the medieval Roman Empire, was used beginning in 1157 under Frederick I of Barbarossa, Holy Empire. The term was added to reflect Frederick's ambition to dominate Italy and the papacy. The form Holy Roman Empire is attested from 1254 onward. LJ Free says Constantine introduced the Angelos line and started ruling as a church as opposed to an army, while still being an army under another name, the Army of the Lord. Mike Easton says, but remember, a lot of them couldn't read. Two witnesses, they didn't want to translate from Latin to English because they'd lose power over the poor. Shows you this TV series, the Vikings. I still haven't seen it.
But no, you got to remember, the Bible was translated into Old English in the 1300s. The problem that they actually had with it, the version of this Bible told you it was illegal to preach the word for money. It told you it was illegal to have more than others. That started the Protestant movement.
J. Saswan says, so something don't add up. It says, because Constantine was behind creation of the Bible and Constantine was the Roman emperor.
Yeah, that was their version of the Bible. You remember, they put a hit out for John Wycliffe because he translated the Wycliffe Bible from Latin to not Old English, Latin to Middle English in the 1300s. I think we spoke about him, I want to say probably about a month ago. We didn't go deep into his story. That's when the Roman Catholic Church was fighting the Calvinists and everybody. Yeah, this time it's what? The Calvinists, the Lutherans, and John Wycliffe.
Two witnesses says, right, thank you, elders, on point. Two witnesses, newsflash, elders in Indian traditions were the women. They're the wise women. That's what we refer to elders. So
I'm trying to tell my old woman. Man.
I mean, sometimes when you hit them bad notes, you can sound like an old woman. I'm just saying.
Yeah, baby.
Don't do that. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to put that out there. Elders of the tribe were the women. Yeah, elders are women. But we know you was trying to be respectful, so we appreciate it. Let's see. And I ain't that old. Anyway. What was that?
Yes, facts, Pamela Hall. Calvin and all them were not considered popes.
Jason Swan says
You
Constantine.
only have popes under Constantine in the Catholic Church.
J. Saswana says Constantine had a series of councils out of which came what he knew. It says out of which came what he know today as a Bible and the councils of Nicene or the councils of Nice. David Corris. Now I'm not reading that, David. Almost got me. Anyway. In a decree following the 1512, that word is Diet of Cologne, but I'm going to say Diet of Cologne. The name was changed to the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. German. Heligus, Romanesque, Reich, Deutscher Nation. And I'm not reading the Latin version, which is Sacrum, Imperium, Romanum, Nationis, Germanius. Let me ask you a question. Is that the reason why we say all the time? Because if you look at some of these Latin words, they end with You ever notice that?
For those who want to further read and on who John Wycliffe was and the Bibles that they had, I posted that link in the chat for reading later on. Yeah, it's 1380. It's 1385 to 1392, and then right after that is the banning of books, because that's when the Catholic Church said can't nobody else write a religious text unless it comes out from them, and this was the reason why.
Mm-hmm. Pamela Hall says, what? Pamela, you a nut. I mean, but that just got me thinking. When you don't know what to say, or you're at a loss for words, I notice I do this. We put at the end of stuff, or before stuff. So, something to think about. The new title was adopted partly because the empire had lost most of its Italian and Burgundian territories to the south and west by the late 15th century, but also to emphasize the new importance of the German imperial estates in ruling the empire due to the imperial reform. By the end of the 18th century, the term Holy Roman Empire of the German nation had fallen out of official use, contradicting the traditional view concerning that designation. Hermann Weisert has argued in a study on imperial tutelature that, despite the claims of many textbooks, the name Holy Roman Empire of the German nation never had an official status, and points out that documents were 30 times as likely to omit the national suffix as included. The famous assessment of the name, the political philosopher Voltaire remarked sardonically, "This body, which was called, and which still calls itself the Holy Roman Empire, was in no way holy, nor Roman, nor an empire." Shots fired. See what's going on in the chat.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, he said it wasn't holy, nor Roman, nor an empire. He took some shots. Lady J says, can someone tell me why are the crazy Moorish Science Temple here in America so proud of supporting the Turkish flag and empire? It is nothing to be proud about. I do not get them. Our people are sick.
Well, see, what we got to remember, some of them are our people, and some of them do tie back into the Ottoman. And some of these Ottoman/Turks are our cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So don't believe what people tell you about the Moorish Science Temple. No, they got a website. If you go to the website, they tell you straight up they do not believe in the Moorish sovereign citizen movement and all this paperwork and doing this and doing that. That's why we have to stop letting people tell us the info and start going to get the information for ourselves.
Use your own eyeballs.
Yeah. Because they're taking a bad rap for things that they had nothing to do with.
Right.
Remember, the Ottomans in the U.S. had working relations since the late 1700s.
What was you saying? No sell out?
No, I said there are a few YouTubers that stand against that. But, they don't represent that sovereign movement.
Exactly.
They make it known. So don't believe everything you hear. Go check it for yourself.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Pretty please. Or ugly please. Either one. Do it.
I'm not touching it. Not touching that. Not touching it.
Why not?
Ugly please. Anyway. Carolingian forerunners, the early Middle Ages. As Roman power in Gaul declined during the 5th century, local Germanic tribes assumed control. In the late 5th and early 6th centuries, the Merovingians under Clovis I and his successors consolidated Frankish tribes and extended hegemony over others to gain control of northern Gaul and middle Rhine River Valley regions. Remember, see, here's another thing. Consolidated Frankish tribes. What's a tribe? People.
Who again?
Frankish. French.
France.
Francs. Francs. By the middle of the 8th century, however, the Merovingians had been reduced to figureheads, and the Carolingians, led by Charles Martel, had become the de facto rulers. In 751, Martel's son Pepin became king of the Franks, whichever one you prefer, and later gained the sanction of the Pope. The Carolingians would maintain a close alliance with the papacy. In 768, Pepin's son Charlemagne became king of the Franks and began an extensive expansion of the realm. He eventually incorporated the territories of present-day France, Germany, North Italy, and beyond, linking the Frankish kingdom with papal lands.
Incorporated. Sound like business to me.
Business. I'm not a businessman.
That part.
I'm a business
I'm a
man. Yeah, boys, it's France pop up everywhere. That's why we call France. Where's Waldo? Waldo be everywhere.
They say French.
Actually, it
How
should
many
be.
out there are them?
Don't do that.
French.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I was about to finish. Can I finish? I can't finish.
No. In y'all got me reading dyslexic. In 797, the Eastern Roman Emperor Constantine VI was removed from the throne by his mother Irene, who declared herself emperor. Wait, whoa, good grief. I mean, talk about power hungry. How you remove your son from the throne and then declare yourself empress? That's gangster. You got punked by your mama. Anyway, as a Latin church influenced by Gothic law forbidding female leadership and property ownership, only regarded a male Roman emperor as the head of Christendom, Pope Leo III sought a new candidate for the dignity, excluding consultation with the Patriarch of Constantinople. Remember, Constantinople is now present-day Istanbul. Charlemagne's good service to the church and his defense of papal possessions against the Lombards made him the ideal candidate. On Christmas Day of 800, Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne emperor, restoring the title in the West for the first time in over 3 centuries. That's like, what, 300 years? Yeah.
Yep.
In 802, Irene was overthrown by Nicephorus the first, and henceforth there were 2 Roman emperors. Stop.
Wait a minute.
He stopped himself.
Check this out.
Let's do it.
In 802, Irene was overthrown by Nicephorus, and henceforth there were 2 Roman emperors. So had she been able to gain control, she would have been the first Roman empress. Well, she was a Roman empress because she declared herself empress, so I stand corrected. She was the first Roman empress.
The church just didn't back her, that's all.
Yeah, she ain't had a papacy. Papa don't preach. So he wouldn't preach, so she couldn't.
At this time,
Go
treat
ahead.
the papacy, treat it as you see the American government. Treat it as another branch of one government.
Mm-hmm.
You had your church leader, you had your military leader, and you had your leader over finances. And they all reported to whoever the ruler was. Your 3 branches.
Mm-hmm. So from that moment on, in 800, there were 2 Roman emperors. Let me ask a question. And, I couldn't stand history, so I probably missed that class, and I was sitting right in class. Does anybody recall there being talk of two Roman emperors simultaneously from the 1800s, from the 800s on? Just a quick question. Anybody?
At the same time? No.
Okay, just checking. So these are two Roman families that are ruling. So you have two ruling families. Remember that. So they're not competing for one crown now. You have these families competing, or these dynasties, or these houses competing for two titles or two crowns.
Yeah, because remember, every house had a crown, and all them crowns answered to the one crown.
Mm-hmm.
So any house can take out another house and take their seat. That's how you have multiple people. He's over Rome, but he's the king of Germany and Italy and the king of this at the same time.
Ain't that how they operate with the unifying belts? You go up a weight class and you fight and you end up having two belts or something like that. Ain't that sort of like how it works? I know I'm messing it up.
Yes, it is. Yeah, same thing. But where all of this stuff that we practice today, where does it come from? Their learned behaviors had to start somewhere.
Right. I don't want my belt. I want your belt too. Okay. It says, after Charlemagne died in 814, the imperial crown passed to his son, Louis the Pious. Upon Louis' death in 840, man, they didn't live that long. He was only 34 when he died. Well, that's not true. He was 34 when his father died. And then he died 30 some odd years later. Anyway, I messed that up. Bad math. So he died in 840 and passed it to his son, Lothair, who had been his close co-ruler. By this point, the territory of Charlemagne had been divided into several territories, and over the course of the later 9th century, the title of emperor was disputed by the Carolingian rulers of Western Francia and Eastern Francia, with first the Western king, Charles the Bald, and then the Eastern Charles the Fat.
No, your name. Think about it. Their names changed by what land they were ruling, what lands they had.
Hold on.
Over here, I'm Jermaine, but on the east side, when I'm ruling on the east, I'm Charles.
Hold on. Charles the Bald and Charles the Fat. Wow.
I guess on one side he got a haircut, on the other side he ate and gained weight. Just guessing.
I can't. It says who briefly reunited the empire, attaining the prize. After the death of Charles the Fat in 888, however, the Carolingian Empire broke apart and was never restored. According to Regino of Prüm, the parts of the realm spewed forth kinglets, and each part elected a kinglet from its own bowels. After the death of Charles the Fat, those crowned emperor by the Pope controlled only territories in Italy. The last such emperor was Berengar I of Italy, who died in 924. Two witnesses, they never saw this once in school since Miel. LJ Free says, sounds like a dude with multiple women trying to keep his story straight and identity. Wow, Free, really? Oak Cliff says mob names, Charles the Fat, Charles the Bald. Y'all are crazy. Okay, so it says around 900 autonomous stem duchies, Franconia, Bavaria, Swabia, Saxony, and Lotharingia, re-emerged in East Francia. After the Carolingian king, Louis the Child, died without issue in 911, East Francia did not turn to the Carolingian rule of West Francia to take over the realm, but instead elected one of the dukes, Conrad of Franconia, as Rex Francorium Orientalium. Go to Moms. On this deathbed, Conrad yielded the crown to his main rival, Henry the Fowler of Saxony, who was elected king of the Diet of Fritzlar in 919. Henry reached a truce with the raiding Magyars, and in 933 he won the first victory against him in the Battle of Riyadh. Henry died in 936, but his descendants, the Leodolphin or Ottonian dynasty, will continue to rule the Eastern Kingdom for roughly a century. Upon Henry the Fowler's death, Otto, his son and designated successor, was elected king of Aachen in 936. He overcame a series of revolts from a younger brother and from several dukes. After that, the king managed to control the appointment of dukes and often also employed bishops in administrative affairs. Hold on.
But you also see, this is the start in the two sides of the Roman Empire, East and West. The East ruler and the West ruler. Set it off for everybody killing off family members to get a seat to the table.
These people are crazy. If they don't have a problem with taking out family members, they don't care about nobody.
Don't we say that all the time? If they don't care about their own, what do you think they feel for you?
Free brought up a great
Remember
point.
the one where the brothers killed each other? The middle brother killed
the oldest
brother for power. Then the little brother turned around and killed him for power.
LJ Free says they brought all this dysfunction to us and now we act like them. Shaking my head, talk about life swap. Yeah, you ain't never lied about that.
Killing each other for a corner to sell some product that we don't own. Yeah, colonized minds.
Yeah, two witnesses. He says I have a point. It's not a coincidence that Ottoman Empire. Exactly. The Ottoman Empire were actually the East Roman Empire. So you're absolutely right. So we're basically showing you how that came about. Well, this is showing you how it came about. We just read it. So where was that at? In 951, Otto came to the aid of Adaliad, the widow queen of Italy, defending her enemies, marrying her, and taking control over Italy. In 955, Otto won a decisive victory over the Magyars in Battle of Lichfield. In 962, Otto was crowned emperor by Pope John XII, thus intertwining the affairs of German kingdom with those of Italy and the papacy. Otto's coronation as emperor marked the German kings as successor to the empire of Charlemagne, which through the concept of translatio imperial also made them consider themselves as successors to ancient Rome. Because Rome is basically a concept that the family rules under. Is that correct, Bones? Or am I close?
Yeah.
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 The kingdom had no permanent capital city. I'm going to repeat that. The kingdom had no permanent capital city. One more again. The kingdom had no permanent capital city. Kings traveled between residences called Kaiserpfalz. To discharge affairs. However, every king preferred certain places. In Otto's case, this was the city of Magdeburg. Kingship continued to be transferred by election, but kings often ensured their own sons were elected during their lifetimes, enabling them to keep the crown for their families. This only changed after the end of the Salian dynasty in the 12th century. In 963, Otto deposed the current Pope John XII and chose Pope Leo VII as the new Pope. Not the old Pope, but the new Pope. Although John XII and Leo VII both claimed the papacy until 964, when John XII... Hold on, wait. If this ain't some juvenile 12-year-old ballad, Pope Leo the Seventh was named the new pope, and the old pope, Pope John the 12th, was like, nope, I'm the pope still. I'm not. I'm still a pope. I don't care what you say.
This is when you'll see power started getting to a lot of people's heads, completely to their heads.
That's funny. Indigenous American Rican Leo says, someone called me. Unless you want the
Remember,
popes.
at this time, the popes don't believe they're the right hand of God yet. That's coming in a couple of years.
Wow is right, James. Wow is definitely right. Where was I? That was funny. This also renewed the conflict with the Eastern Emperor in Constantinople, now Istanbul, especially after Otto's son, Otto II, 967 through 83, adopted the designation Imperator Romanorum. They put them arms. Still, Otto II formed martial ties with the East when he married the Byzantine princess, Theophanu. Is that her name?
Remember, Otto the First and Otto the Second is the predecessors to where the Ottoman name come from.
Their son Otto III came to the throne only 3 years old. Hold on. Their son Otto III came to the throne only 3 years old and was subjected to a power struggle and series of regencies until his age of majority in 994. Up to that time, he had remained in Germany while deposed Duke Crescentus II ruled over Rome and part of Italy, ostensibly in his stead. 996, Otto III appointed his cousin Gregory V the first German pope. A foreign pope and foreign papal officers were seen with suspicion by Roman nobles, who were led by Crescentius II to revolt. Otto III's former mentor, anti-pope John the 16th. Hold on, anti-pope, anti-pope. Don't nobody see that? Anybody getting that? Okay.
He's a pope that's against the popes.
Yeah, he's a pope against the man. Forget all y'all.
So why you a pope?
It says he briefly held Rome until the Holy Roman Emperor seized the city. And this goes on to prove that the popes don't run anything. Because the emperors are seizing cities and disposing or deposing the popes.
Yeah, because the king can choose, just like you seen with Otto III. You pick who your pope gonna be. See, at this time, the Roman Catholic Church wasn't being ran how it's ran today. They answered to the kings and can be removed at any given time for any reason. They were just spiritual advisors at this time.
So anybody pushing that the Catholic Church run everything, wrong. So it says, Otto died young in 1002 and was succeeded by his cousin Henry II, who focused on Germany. Henry II died 22 years later in 1024, and Conrad II, first of the Salian dynasty, was elected king only after some debate among dukes and nobles. This group eventually developed into a college of electors. Wait, what?
Yeah, the birth of the Electoral College. We was talking about that yesterday. You're gonna realize a lot of what they brought over and added to our ancestors' ways was some of the ways of the Roman Empire. They just bridged it together to create a new system.
Wow. No, Sellout, can you read the rest of this? Where you at?
Pardon me.
Okay.
Element appeal.
Really, element appeal? Really? David Core says Pope told Obama to give the land back to the natives. LG Free says anti-Pope like Antichrist. Pope claims to be the vicar of Christ, power of God on the earth. Two sides of the same coin. Exactly.
Yeah, you can see eventually where the split gonna come with the kings and the Catholic Church, because they both fighting for the same chair eventually. I ain't never hear of a pope having a king executed, but I know plenty kings that had plenty popes executed.
So don't sell out. You're able to. I saw you just posted in the chat. You can start with the Holy Roman Empire became eventually composed of 4 kingdoms. That's the name of the kingdoms. Then go to the
I'm looking at the link again.
I can send it to you.
Yeah. Or you just post it in the chat because I couldn't. That's what I was looking for. That.
Incoming. Come on. There we go. You got it.
Yep. Hold on.
You got it back.
Really? There you go.
From the top.
No. I'm like a third of the way down.
Oh yeah,
Right.
we're
Right beside the Holy Roman Empire between 972 and 1032 map up to the right. Everybody else can see where I'm at. I'm right here. Right here. Just where I'm is.
I hear you. I see the whole.
Somebody said it was me.
I might as well just read from the screen. I just left the screen.
Really?
The Holy Roman Empire became eventually composed of 4 kingdoms. The kingdoms were Kingdom of Germany, part of the empire since 962. Kingdom of Italy from 962 until 1648. Kingdom of Bohemia since 1002 as the Duchy of Bohemia and raised to a kingdom in 1198. Kingdom of Burgundy from 1032, I should have said 1002 up there, to 1378. Let me get back to my link. I was definitely reading from the screen. Hold on, we under the history tab. Where am I at, man? I lost it.
And why are you looking for it? I'll read it.
Yep.
High Middle Ages, investiture controversy. Kings often employed bishops in administrative affairs and often determined who would be appointed to ecclesiastical offices. In the wake of the Phoenician reforms, this involvement was increasingly seen as inappropriate by the papacy. The reform-minded Pope George VII was determined to oppose such practices, which led to the investiture controversy with Henry IV. The King of the Romans and Holy Roman Emperor, Henry IV, repudiated the Pope's interference and persuaded his bishops to excommunicate the Pope, which goes back to what Bones was saying. New Pope, we don't call him New Pope. Pope George, not you. Well, it's actually Gregory, but I'm gonna call him Pope George because Mama called him Pope George. I'm just
Yo.
Pope Gregory VII. So he was opposed to such practices. So he was like, okay, so I'm going to create an investiture controversy. I'm going to investigate these individuals that are elected. What are they, the dukes? The bishops that have ecclesiastical offices. Remember, these are chosen by the king.
Cronyism.
So, how you gonna come in as new pope and think you gonna tell a king who he can appoint? That's what they doing, really.
Oh yeah, you can, but I promise you ain't gonna be around too long.
He got excommunicated, meaning they not only ignored him, they kicked him out.
Oh, you gotta go.
It says Henry IV repudiated the Pope's interference and persuaded, wink wink, his bishops to excommunicate the Pope, whom he famously addressed by his born name, Hildebrand. Hildebrand, thank you. Oh, you can read. Are you ready to read now? You ready to read? You got,
Oh, no, yeah, I did.
you got I'm going on Murph.
Whom he famously addressed by his born name, Hildebrand, rather than his regnal name, Pope Gregory VII. The Pope, in turn, excommunicated the king, declared him deposed, and dissolved the oaths of loyalty made to Henry. The king found himself with almost no political support and was forced to make the famous walk to Canossa in 1077, by which he achieved a lifting of the excommunication at the price of humiliation. Meanwhile, the German princes had elected another king, Rudolph of Swabia. Henry managed to defeat him, but was subsequently confronted with more uprisings, renewed excommunication, and even the rebellion of his sons. After his death, his second son, Henry V, reached an agreement with the Pope and the bishops in 1122, the Concordat of Worms. The political power of the empire was maintained, but the conflict had demonstrated the limits of the ruler's power, especially in regard to the church, and it robbed the king of the sacral status he had previously enjoyed. The Pope and the German princes had surfaced as major players in the political system of the empire.
Stop.
See what the Pope did? You're like, okay, you finna kick me out? I'm finna go over here and hang out with the princess and get me some say-so. Only a royal family can dispose of a royal family. Without that allegiance to the princess, Pope has no say-so.
Right. I'm gonna tell your sister.
Basically.
And Freeze brings up a good point. She says, while they're doing all of this, they're also destroying the life and legacy of the indigenous people in whose land they keep fighting in and over. Hugh does that. Good point, Free. And also, too, what we're seeing play out here is the same thing that started to play out when they got to the Americas. They started teaching this brand of thuggery to our ancestors and to the Matisse. And that's how they started ruling and running. You had chiefs killing chiefs. Think about all the chiefs that end up disappearing or dying or getting sick on their way to D.C. You think that was coincidence?
Yeah, I know for a month, I didn't want to go nowhere. But we need something from the store. You get it.
So,
I'm safe out there. Might not come back.
So I'm saying this is where all this mess comes from prostitution to stealing, robbing, and killing. All this stuff came from Europe. And we want to get rid of the people. Here's the funny thing. You want to get rid of the people, but you want to keep their ways. You want to still do thug stuff. You still want to hang out with scammers. But you want to get rid of the people. Get rid of the people and keep their system. How about we get rid of you? Anyway, I'm done. You can go ahead and finish reading. That's all out.
We are on Holy Roman Empire under Hohenstaufen dynasty. When the Salian dynasty ended with Henry V's death in 1125, the princes chose not to elect the next of kin, but rather Lothair, the moderately powerful but already old Duke of Saxony. When he died in 1137, the princes again aimed to check royal power. Accordingly, they did not elect Lothair's favorite heir, his son-in-law Henry the Proud of the Welf family, but Conrad III of the Hohenstaufen family, the grandson of Emperor Henry IV, and thus a nephew of Emperor Henry V. This led to over a century of strife between the two houses. Conrad ousted the Welfs from their possessions, but after his death in 1152, his nephew Frederick I Barbarossa succeeded him and made peace with the Welfs, restoring his cousin Henry the Lion to his, albeit diminished, possession. The Hohenstaufen rulers increasingly lent land to ministerialia, formerly non-free servicemen who Frederick hoped would be more reliable than dukes. Initially used mainly for war services, this new class of people would form the basis for the later knights, another basis of imperial power. A further important constitutional move at Roncaglia was the establishment of a new peace mechanism for the entire empire, the land freedom, with the first imperial one being issued in 1103 under Henry IV at Maine. This was an attempt to abolish private feuds between the many dukes and other people, and to tie the emperor's subordinates to a legal system of jurisdiction and public prosecution of criminal acts, a predecessor of the modern concept of the, quote, rule of law. Another new concept of the time was the systematic foundation of new cities by the emperor and by the local dukes.
Stop, please. Thank you. So, I'm going to go back up a little bit. And I'm going to reread something. And I know Bones will probably catch what I'm saying. I know No Sellout will catch what I'm trying to say. And I know Free will catch what I'm trying to say. And of course, Dudovision will catch it. But it just stuck to me. So, concepts. It says a moderately powerful but already old Duke of Saxony. She replaced him. When he died in 1137, the princes again aimed to check royal power. Accordingly, they did not elect Lothair's favorite heir, his son-in-law, Henry the Proud of the Welf family, but Conrad III of the Hohenstaufen family, the grandson of the Emperor Henry IV, and thus a nephew of Henry V. This led to over a century of strife between the two houses. So here's a question. There was no strife between these two families until the princess decided that she was going to change things up, because apparently she didn't like the way the power structure was going. Who does that remind you of in Mayan culture? I'm just saying. You know that harlot that we call Militar?
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, granted, I will say, I'm sure this princess, just like that harlot, probably was reacting to something that she didn't like.
It's simple. Put it in common terms. She's in charge right now. If this other family gets back in the seat, they can actually replace her. She was making sure power stayed balanced so she could never be checked. Because think about it, can't nobody check her right now. She gets to elect everybody.
I just thought that was interesting because it seems to be a theme. Go ahead, Bones.
Yeah, for the two houses that had a chance of supplanting you, you cause a beef to make them take out each other. So now your seat is safe because they too busy fighting with each other. Family Feud, and they call it a game show.
So you can go ahead and finish it where these were partly caused by the explosions. in population?
These were partly caused by the explosion in population, and they also concentrated economic power at strategic locations. Before this, cities had only existed in the form of old Roman foundations or older bishoprics. Cities that were founded in the 12th century include Freiburg, possibly the economic model for many later cities, and Munich. Frederick I, also called Frederick Barbarossa, was crowned emperor in 1155. He emphasized the quote-unquote Romanness of the empire, and partly in an attempt to justify the power of the emperor, independent of the now strengthened pope. An imperial assembly at the fields of Roncaglia in 1158 reclaimed imperial rights in reference to Justinian's Corpus Juris Civilis. Imperial rights have been referred to as regalia since the investiture controversy, but were enumerated for the first time at Roncaglia. This comprehensive list included public roads, tariffs, coining, collecting punitive fees, and the investiture or seating and unseating of office holders. These rights were now explicitly rooted in Roman law, a far-reaching constitutional act. Frederick's policies were primarily directed at Italy, where he clashed with the increasingly wealthy and free-minded cities of the north, especially Milan. He also embroiled himself in another conflict with the papacy by supporting a candidate elected by a minority against Pope Alexander III, 1159 to 81. Frederick supported a succession of antipopes before finally making peace with Alexander in 1177. In Germany, the emperor had repeatedly protected Henry the Lion against complaints by rival princes or cities, especially in the cases of Munich and Lübeck. Henry gave only lackluster support to Frederick's policies, and in a critical situation during the Italian Wars, Henry refused the emperor's plea for military support. After returning to Germany, an embittered Frederick opened proceedings against the Duke, resulting in a public ban and the confiscation of all his territories. In 1190, Frederick participated in the Third Crusade and died in the Armenian Kingdom of Sicilia.
All right.
Cilicia.
Yeah, I think Armenian Kingdom of Cilicia. That's what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. So, what we're finding out here is that these people crazy. And all they want is power and wealth and titles and land. So they end up coming over here to the Americas and infecting our ancestors with the same mess. They end up losing our land. So, what's the point of all this? What's the point of us reading this? What's the point of us sharing this? What's the point of us going over this from 8 o'clock in the rising until 10:30 in the rising? One, so you'll know where in time in history your ancestors were when you get to a certain time and date dealing with the census and your genealogy, so you can go find them. You can't find them, it's very difficult to tie back to your ancestors. So we go through this information so you can understand timelines. As No Sellout always say, timelines. These timelines are important because what we're starting to figure out, at least what I'm starting to figure out, is we need to know the correct location and the correct name with the correct time so we can find our ancestors. Because if someone's talking about Spain in the 1300s and you go look up something about your ancestors in Spain in the 1300s, go to their archives, what do you think he's going to find? You're not going to find your ancestors in the 1300s because Spain didn't exist. You have to go to France. But you won't know that if we don't check the timelines and make sure we match these timelines with the correct name of the area.
And two witnesses said it perfect. The most important thing about all this, you learn how it was done. You can't undo something until you know how it was done to you. So the who, what, when, where, and why, and most importantly, how is very important.
Yeah. So much so that we have to keep going over this until it's not a barrier anymore. Because the how is what's hidden. We already know the why. It's that how that's the most important.
When.
Go ahead, Bones.
No, like you said, we know the why. We're researching when all this officially happened. We're researching where all this officially happened. We're researching what really happened. Now, the most critical thing, like we said again, is how it happened. And the how isn't to point fingers. Again, the learning how it happened is so we know what to do to directly change it.
And the best example of that is if you were ever in the Boy Scouts or you ever had any military training. In order to untie a knot, you have to be able to recognize the knot and know how that knot was laid out in order to untie it. If you don't know how the knot was tied, you're not going to be able to untie it in many cases. And basically, our history is knotted up. And many of us don't know how to untie that knot because we don't know how the knot was tied. So this exposure allows you to know how all this stuff came about. We also need to know who. Did we go on? You. Like I said, we also need to know who. Because we don't just do genealogy just so you know who you are. You want to do it so you know who everybody around you is. Because knowing who everybody around you is will tell you what you need to know about how they operate and why you don't only get certain information or not. You know why they only tell you certain things or don't. Something to think about. So it's not just about knowing who you are, it's knowing about who everybody around you is. Because that's where everything starts. Everything starts with where you are. Remember, you are here. How you gonna know where to go to if you don't know where you came from, or if you don't even know where you are located currently? You ever call somebody, this is before GPS, so I'm dating myself. You ever call somebody and tell them, hey, I'm on my way to your spot, how do I get to your house? The first question they ask you is, where are you? Right? If you can't answer that question where you are, they can't guide you to them, can they? Keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and let these good people go on with their day so they can continue to impact their relatives' lives, their communities' lives, and their tribes' lives. Don't sell out. What you got to say to the good people before we head on out?
Alrighty, peace to the chat. Peace to the panel. Appreciate you, chat, for showing up today on this fine Friday-ish rising. If you have any questions, obviously, that you need to ask of us, or have any statements to make, you can contact us anytime, 24/7, with the email address, the forum, the website, all of that. That's where we're at. Hit us up. Appreciate y'all for showing up. Thanks to the panel and the chat again. Maybe I should start relinquishing the mic. I should start doing that.
Whatever works for you, bro. Whatever works.
Nah, that might not work.
Anyway, again, I want to send a shout out to the new subscribers, the silent majority, those of you who are out there listening and taking all this information in and then use it for your relatives in your community. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for using this information, and thank you for continuing to come back. It's the best chat ever on Earth. Spelled ERPH. The best chat on Earth. We had a moment of excitement, and we had a moment of disappointment. Christopher Columbus is black, but y'all make sure we stayed on track and stayed on point. Like, is that site reputable? I don't know. Teammates, you might want to check that out. So, thank y'all for always doing what y'all do and keeping us on point. Remember, we're here to help you do your genealogy. Everything we do leads to that. So please don't forget that. With that, I'm going to relinquish the mic to Bones H. McCoy so he can give y'all his salutations, and he can take us on up out of here. All right, Bones.
All right. Thanks, TMH. Appreciate what you and No Sellout bring to the panel. Much respect to the chat, those who just listen and those who are very active, because again, without your support, this wouldn't be possible. And again, as we unturned another stone in our story, it's putting us closer to find out what happened, when it happened, where it happened, and most importantly, how it happened. Let's don't forget, if we do not apply the information that we take in on a daily basis to improve our environments, then nothing ever changes. So let's be that change that we always talk about. Let's be that change that our children's children can read about. And on that note, we always have a lovely time when we get together in the rising with the relatives. No place we'd rather be. So until the next rising show, everybody have a very, very blissful day, and peace.
Peace, y'all.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.